Good morning. It's 11 o'clock on Saturday, July 8th, 2023. I wonder what all I have set up correct or not correct this morning. Nope, this one's got to get muted. There. Then I'll go check for an audio confirmation. Then I'll go check. Got that. Very good. Let's see. I see Brian Lightfoot's in Zoom. Zoom session is open. And I have the audio on Zoom set up so that I'm not hearing any conversation from the Zoom room. I'll pop out chat and I'm going to go over to the Zoom session pretty quickly, I think. Zoom this in and say hello to peoples. Tony Walla, good morning, afternoon. Greg says, wow, second place, Ran Israel. Hello, everybody, whenever, wherever you are. There's Jonathan, Ida, cats and dogs who's saying hello to. Tony, Jonathan, Ida, hello. Brian Lightfoot says it's a beautiful spring day in July in the Central Valley of California. Let's see, Jonathan Selden Ball gives us a weather report. Tony Wallow, AVDVR, good. And watches on the table. That catches me up with chat. I'm all caught up. Wow. All right, Brian, I'm going to bring you in here in a moment. Get yourself ready. And I'll punch over to this one first, and then I'm going to go make some adjustments. I'll turn my camera on. I'm going to turn my microphone on. Oh, that camera. Oh, he's telling me to wait a moment. I'm going to see if I can make an adjustment to my camera there. And this will give you a little preview. See how different that camera is? I have not changed my microphone settings yet in Zoom. And you know what? I experimented with this yesterday. The only way that I can affect the camera settings in Zoom appears to be by using Logi, what do they call it? Logitune. Where's it going to come up? Over here on this monitor. So if I come in here to image adjustments, and I've got to choose the right camera. That's the right camera. I don't actually get to see the image here because the camera is on in Zoom. But if I turn the camera off in Zoom, then I think I will get to see the camera here. Yes. See, there it is. And then image adjustments. White balance, brightness. Yeah, I found this was not very friendly for making adjustments when I experimented with it last night. Because I don't get the same. Oh, there's the number settings right there. All right. Well, I'm going to see if that makes any impact over on Zoom. So if I switch back to that Zoom preview, turn on my camera there, I think that looks different. Still don't quite like it. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Brian, I'm changing over my audio here. Give me a thumbs up, Brian, if you're ready. Maybe he's not hearing me. So if I go here to headset, he turned his video off. All right. No, that camera doesn't look anywhere near the same as this one, does it? Oh, well, that's going to be a work in progress. Back over here to chat. Yeah, good afternoon. Is it Logitech? Yes. Let's see, where was I at? What did I miss? Speedy C. Chris, no need for mini Dougs. There were plenty at the bottom of the screen. Good afternoon. Is it Logitech R. Alcala? Hello there. That's a new name. Welcome aboard. Bobby Warren, Doug, I called Alex yesterday. I had an issue. Jaden, 8th Gen Core i5 CPU is still worth it. Is 8th Gen. Well, okay, let's circle around back to that a little bit later. Not too much later. I want to go try Brian. Whoops, no, Brian doesn't have his camera on, so I'm going to say he's not ready. I'll go ahead and address that. Is 8th gen Core i5 CPUs worth it? Yes, if it's useful to you. If it's not useful to you for very long into the future, then no. So, of course, it's a personal question. What do you want to do with it, Jaden? If you want to be able to use Windows with it and browsing the internet and moving forward, in my opinion, you should be purchasing now for Windows 11. Purchase Windows 11 approved equipment, and you just save yourself from bad news down the road. Because maybe if you buy equipment that's not Windows 11 capable or what, authenticated, approved, you may be fine with it. We just don't know. Why buy new equipment that you know is not going to be on the approved list for Windows 11? So it's a very personal question. We can discuss it further if you give me more details about what you want to do with it. All right. Oh, I saw Brian's camera on for a little bit, and then it's off again. I don't know. Coming back into chat. People saying hellos to each other, and it just jumped on me. There. Ida says, I think it's pronounced Alcala with emphasis on the last syllable. Alcala. 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 Yeah, that spelling doesn't quite give me a pronunciation in my mind. Alcala. 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 That gives an emphasis on the last syllable. John Aloy says, good day, everyone. Threatening rain here in Virginia. Nice to be here for a change. Nice to be here during a live stream, I guess he's saying. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you here for a while. John Aloy, good to see you. Greg Guy has 80 degrees in southern Maryland. Alice says hello to everyone. And people saying hellos to each other. Greg M. 8th gen should run Windows 11. Well, I think that's really on the borderline. You probably need to look at the, make sure that particular CPU and the rest of the computer is up to it. I think 8th gen is right around the point where some of them are unapproved and some of them are not, I think. But, you know, so Jaden, is it on the approved list? And then whatever you're going to be doing with it, if it's sufficient for your needs, what you want to do, then yeah, it's worth it. 8th gen is the oldest that's Windows 11 approved, but I don't think all 8th gen is approved, right? 8th gen is Intel is compatible with Windows 11. There still are many different CPUs within 8th gen. I don't know that they are all compatible. Maybe they are. We should have Windows 12 by 2024. Don't bet money on it. That might happen, but so what? You don't know if it's going to be better than Windows 11. Okay, I'm going to come over to Zoom now because there's somebody there with the camera on. Go figure that. Okay, and then I'll unmute my microphone in Zoom. There's a Ken Stout there. Hello, Ken. I'm not hearing you. Let's see. Talk again, Ken. Let me see if they're hearing you. Nope, they're not hearing you. Checking. Nope, I haven't changed the speakers yet for that. Let's go here. All right, try it again. No. Okay, I have found this really weird thing that happens when I do this thing, my little trick, so that the people in the Zoom room don't distract me while I'm trying to open the show. And what I have to do to fix that, I'm going to the wrong place. Right-click on the speaker, go to Sounds, and then go to Playback, and then come down here to Open Run Pro. That's showing the right thing, and then Properties, Levels, it's showing 100%. So that says okay. All right. Try another change over here on Right here. Headphones Open Run Pro should be coming through to me, and it's not. Let's go to speakers default. There it is. Oh, that's going to the speakers on my desk. That's going to cause microphone.
Now we don't hear him.
Okay,
Yep.
shh. Be quiet. All right, I muted Zoom from the screen. Not camera. My microphone needs to be Yeti there, and speakers needs to be Open Run Pro. Okay, try talking to me now in Zoom.
Testing 1, 2, 3 from Zoom.
Bingo, bada boom. Try it once more, Brian.
Testing 1, 2,
Okay.
3 from Zoom.
And the graphic indicates that your voice is going over on the YouTube stream. Okay, now
Okay,
I'll just...
At first, when I couldn't hear you, I go, oh, what have I done to my settings? So while you've got me live online, I'm checking all my settings. I'm testing my speaker and the mic, and apparently I couldn't hear you. So that's why I muted the camera.
Yeah,
I'm still testing.
Somewhere along there, I apparently clicked wrong when I made my speakers, or no. I don't know.
Unfortunately, Ken joined Zoom, and then he and I speak the same foreign language.
Were you able to talk with each other before I got into
Yes.
audio with you? Yeah, I would think
Yeah.
so. I expected that.
We had nothing but good words to say about you, Doug.
Your nose is growing longer. What's up with that?
I got bit by an insect last night while I was golfing. I'm trying to figure that out.
All right.
I'm guessing you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. You guessed right. Ken, do you have any topics to bring to the table?
No.
All right.
I actually joined to see if you could hear my audio, but not Brian's. But we all know now that that issue's been resolved. So no, not really.
All right. So does that mean you're leaving now? If that's the only reason you joined?
Fine. I'm gonna take my ball and go somewhere else. I'll go start a live stream of my own and have some competition.
Speaking of that, nobody seems to have a live stream today. Not you, not Carrie, but I do with Fortnite.
I'll have a live stream at 9 o'clock Indiana time. I just haven't scheduled it yet. Hold on. I'll be back.
All right. Brian, do you have any topics, questions today?
I didn't have anything new to bring, but I'm just interested in hearing about number 7 and then number 9.
Number 7 and number 9.
Number 9.
You're saying that in a way that's supposed to mean something to me. Reserved for viewer requests.
It does to everybody else on the planet, but apparently you don't.
Well, are you? Is it a reference to the song number 9?
There you go, bingo.
Okay, so anytime you say a word that's included in the title of a song, I got to figure you're making. Oh, all right. I did actually, when you said number 9, that did immediately pop into my head. I just thought, no, that couldn't be. Just trying to make a reference to, but I couldn't tell you anything more about that song. All I know is got something to do with number 9.
You don't know who sang it or who did it, who produced it?
I couldn't tell you that. That's not something that I'm.
I'll give you 4 hints and see if this helps. Okay. John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
Oh, the Monkees.
You got it. Oh my gosh, I'm impressed.
Beatles. Hello, Jim. You come for more of this madness.
Yeah, don't ask. Must be out of my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm only drinking water right now. That could change before the stream ends.
All right. Well, I got to find out what does your shirt say. My GPS has learned to say your other left. Oh, and the number of times I've pulled that on people, my gosh. That's a big thing in aviation, which seems scary. When a pilot is up getting recurrent training with CFI, actually every 2 years we have to get a check ride with an instructor, and the instructors tell the story over and over and over about when he tells a pilot to make a right turn, more than half the time they turn to the left. And it's a psychology, because it's a psychology thing, and it's pretty well established. The pilot, not really a student pilot, but in this scenario they're a student, they've got their active mind so focused on trying to do everything right that they miss the little things like that. And it's very common. All right, I'm going to come back over to chat, see what people are talking about. What is Geekbench for? What is the Geekbench for test for it? Jaden was the one asking about the Generation 8 CPU, right?
Yeah, Generation 8, all of them are fine. There are select
All
Gen
of them.
7s. Yes, there are select Gen 7s that will work. And the reason that is, partly or maybe mostly, is because Microsoft put out a Surface after Windows 11 that was released. They put out a Surface line that wouldn't run Windows 11 according to the requirements. So they snuck in the 7th gens that were in the Surface. Like
Okay,
Windows 11
Got
came
it.
out in 2015.
All right.
And they released a Surface in either 2016 or 2017
Yeah.
that still had a 7th gen chip in it.
Yeah. Okay.
So Microsoft went, oops.
Oh, so what it sounds like the intention was to make a clean cutoff, Gen 7, Gen 8?
Yeah.
And they just messed up with that one? Okay. Yeah. I've never had need to look very detailed into that. Okay, so that would mean that the chip that he was asking about, is it worth buying? Well, sure. If it will meet your purposes, which I have no idea what Jaden's going to be doing with that computer.
8th gen is fine. I would seriously, though, consider maybe a 10th gen, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Well, then the next question would be, why is he interested in this specific 8th gen? I would assume he's looking at a specific 8th gen that somehow is appealing to him. So there may be something else about it that is appealing to him.
He could be looking at refurbished laptops.
Maybe.
Which, you get what you get with those, and that's very possible. If he's looking for a refurb laptop, then yeah, he wants to be looking at, he can look at a minimum of 8th gen, but I would look closer to 10th gen.
And if he's only looking at that for the purpose of moving into Windows 11, he could delay that for a while. And because when it gets closer to that date, there's going to be more refurbished computers available with newer CPUs than what they are today, I would expect. So the story, as with anybody's computer purchase consideration, you got to look deeper into the details. You can't just say, is this CPU worth it? All right, I'm going to come back here to chat. Is that where I was at? I'm going to say I think I was. Speedy C, your Zoom camera looks cold. Already talked about that. 8th gen, 5 years old, on the list for Windows 11. Yada, yada, yada. SSDs faster than Oh, Jaden is asking, SSD are still faster than eMMC?
Probably yes. It's going to depend. SSDs come in flavors.
Yeah.
You have SATA SSDs, and then you have the NVMe SSDs. I will guarantee you that an NVMe SSD is faster than eMMC.
Now, I'm not even sure what he's referring to by eMMC. What is that? That's a type of memory chip, isn't it?
It's a type of storage that you find a lot in like the Chromebooks.
All right.
It's a set size, whatever, but you see that a lot in those.
And hence why I'm not really aware of what that is. It's not something I normally deal with.
No, neither do I.
Okay, Bobby, Lauren, I learned something new from Alex. Don't upgrade to Windows 11 if there is not enough RAM in the computer. Let's see, Greg M. Yes, Jim, with 11 marked down versus 12. What? With the 11th marked down versus 12.
He's talking
I
about
don't
the
get it.
comment I made previously in the chat.
Okay, I'll skip over it. Zoom audio, 8 gigabytes. Chris, I went, yeah, it was Chris, Computers ETC, that was going to delete System 32. I tried to go back after the fact and watch that, and it's not there. Windows 10 should have at least 8 gigabytes. What is the requirements for Windows 11? Usually, if there's not enough memory, they will not let you upgrade. Dennis, camera color. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, technically, when 10 came out,
Yeah.
believe it or not, they said you could run it on 4 gigabytes. Nobody in their right mind would do that.
Well,
but when it first came out, it said 4 gigabytes. May have actually even said 2, but I find that ridiculous too.
There are edge cases. I have a Windows 10 computer running on 2 gigabytes. I'll give you a demonstration of it. It's under certain circumstances, it works quite well. But I got to show you what those circumstances are. They are not circumstances for anybody to do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, nothing in normal use would be my
no,
guess.
It's not a normal user. It's not a normal purpose. Not a normal use. But
it idles quite well.
Actually, I'll be able to surprise you with some things that I can do with that computer. I've kind of had it on my mind to do some demonstrations, but haven't got to there yet. Let's see. Here comes Chris Garrett. Hello, Chris.
That stream just didn't work out.
I was kind of suspecting that might have been the case. It sounded like it could have been fun to try to do.
I got a question for Bobby though. Did Bobby learn from Alex, or did Alex learn from Bobby?
Well, Bobby said he learned from Alex. I don't think it's really something new. It was new for Bobby, I guess. Don't upgrade to Windows 11 if there's not enough RAM in the computer. And that's,
well, usually it won't let you.
Yeah, I can't say that I've run across that because I don't think I've tried. Coming back to chat, Ida Rivera. Let's see. Dennis is saying camera different on Zoom versus YouTube. They are different cameras. Physically different cameras. Let's see if I point this camera to the monitor, you'll be able to see. Oops, that one's not available. I know you got a black screen right now.
I don't even know where my camera is.
Oh, let's see.
That is the back side of the modem.
Oh, no, I'm not going to show you that because that camera's not even plugged into the computer right now.
I get it. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's back on now. Ida, we'll have to look into building a PC next year. Have a 2015 HP Envy with Radeon R7 CPU, not Windows 11 compatible. Addressing that to Jim. Chris Garrett, I have 8 gigabytes in my Dell, 1 terabyte NVMe. It is good enough with 8 gigabytes. Yeah, Windows 11. Go ahead.
It's fine. So for what I do, it's fine.
With 8 gigabytes in Windows 11?
I wasn't doubting Jim. I mean, yeah, it would be better.
Well, again, it depends upon what you're going to do with the computer. But I'm suspecting Windows 11, if you're like using Chrome with multiple tabs open, a couple other softwares running in the background, switching back and forth between programs, maybe sluggish. I haven't tried to see where you actually going to feel pain. And different people feel pain at different points. If you've ever been accustomed to a faster computer, you're going to not be tolerant of a slow computer. If you've always had slow computers, you're going to be more tolerant of that.
I would like to see them, I know everybody's probably going to hate me for this, but I like to see them come out with an Android for desktop that really, I know you can do it, but that really works.
Why are you interested in that?
I just rather, I mean, just an alternative whenever, I don't know. It was just a thought. I mean,
All right, that's fair. It was just a thought. You don't have any feature attracting you to it. So here's an answer you might have given. You might have said there is an app only available to Android that you would like to use keyboard and mouse with on at your desktop. I think even that could be argued because you can put an external screen, I think, on a Android device and an external keyboard and mouse, so you could still accomplish it. Got to get into the details about what somebody's really wanting, and is it something they really want, or is it just a thought? And this was just a thought. I wonder if you could do.
I actually got a new phone, and the only reason I went with Android is because I don't have like $500 to fork or whatever to fork out on an Apple
All right.
iPhone. So this is a 5G. Whenever it's gonna probably be when I get the case for it. I ordered a case. I'm not gonna use it till I get the case because I always drop in my phone.
Okay, moving on.
Seems like it was only like, altogether, it was like $70, and it seems like a pretty good phone. It's a Motorola. I know Motorola makes good phones, so.
All right. Going back to chat. Moving to Jaden. How fast is a SSD? Okay, well, they vary. Let's just give it. An SSD can be like a 2.5-inch SSD that you connect to a SATA, or it could be a high-end NVMe drive because that's still an SSD. So maybe on the lowest end, 300 megabits a second. On the highest end, what? I don't know, 7,000, 8,000 or above megabits per second if we give a range. How about we just start the conversation with that? Jim, can you correct that range a little bit?
Your typical 2.5, well, your typical SATA SSD.
Yeah.
Usually tops out at around 540 to 550.
I'm asking for a range. The lowest, worst SSD, and to the highest. So give us that range. Across the board of a 2.5-inch connected to SATA port up to the highest NVMe. Because Jaden's asking, how fast is an SSD? So to answer that question, that broadly, that's a broad question. So let's answer it broadly.
Okay. The slowest SSD that I have in here, I think, is a 240 gigabyte that's probably 5 years old. And I still want to say it did 250, 300.
Okay.
That's the slowest one I've ever seen. Typically, again, the top speed, 540 to 550. Now, your typical hard drive, depending on its age, might be as slow as 80 megabytes per second to close to 200 if it's new. If it's new.
On the top speed of the SSD, you stayed within the SATA range.
Yes.
But an NVMe, an M.2, is still an SSD.
It still is
Yes?
an SSD.
Okay.
And yes, and
So
and
give
you
us the
have
high
different
rate
generations.
Yeah, then you got all the different generations, and depending upon what CPU motherboard you're using, you're up in what, 8, 9, 10,000?
For the Gen 5s, yes.
Yeah. All right. So that is that's the range that I'm going to give you, Jaden. Chris says, I bet Kerry will stream later today. He may. Okay, Love Potion number 9. Yep. I see. I couldn't even have told you Love Potion goes with number 9. Yeah, but I recognize that once you said it, Jeff. Windows 12 apparently is official enough to have the code name Hudson Valley. Well, they're working on, they have a project codenamed Hudson Valley. They haven't actually declared, to my understanding, that is going to be Windows 12. That is just project under development. And of course, whatever is going to become the next named version of Windows has to be under development now. Let me guess another mini PC, perhaps for Carrie shows what Ida's speculating there. I think Jaden Stowe, I recommend SSD, not eMMC, for faster performance, faster birth times. Well, thank you for that recommendation, Jaden. Selden to Jaden, SSD speed depends on how it's connected to the computer. I think this must be some ladybug meme there to mean something about our conversation. So let's move on. How about if it's soldered? Let's get past that conversation. Fun madness. Moving along. So, but if it's soldered, throw it away. And you know what? Again, whatever piece of equipment you're using, if it serves the purpose that you need it for, then that's fine. Even if it has soldered memory.
Soldered memory I could tolerate. Soldered SSD would annoy the hell out of me.
Yeah. Somebody's asking.
So everybody with a Macintosh needs to throw their computers away?
Well, if it dies, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Speedy C asking for topic number 5, which is BBB remote power on-off options. I am interested in implementing something along those lines. I can explain that when I get to that topic. Dennis, I have a premiere scheduled sometime after my stream, but why is his premiere not showing up on my list of things to send to? Did he just do that? I'm going to check. Premiere, is that, oh, you know what? Probably I saw that there and assumed that was the live stream coming up. I don't see a click on that, and that, no, that's a live stream. So I'm going to send somebody to a live Fortnite live stream at 5 p.m. today. Sorry, it's going to be mine. Not that that's a big draw. I don't think I get a lot of viewers based off of doing that from this show. Ida says topics 3 and 5. Tale from the Trench. Client reported all computers sluggish. I think you will find that one interesting. Now that one and this phishing email, those are both things that came up and resolved yesterday. They were all within yesterday. Skipping over a little bit. Ken says the stream is now rescheduled. Oh, I know I didn't see that by my request. Yeah. I requested Ken to start a stream.
As requested.
Schedule a stream. He really interprets things that he gets
by popular demand.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I've heard him say, I'm doing this because Doug requested. No. He is still here listening to this. Yeah, he is. There it is. I had to refresh that browser page. And he's at 6 p.m. It's after my Fortnite. Oh, that's his evening show. Yeah, I'll give that. He's trying to grow his evening show. Let's see let's get back here.
Question.
All right, Ken, question. Go for Ken.
Did you not recently say on your redirects that you were not able to redirect premieres? Or did I think that I heard that somewhere?
I think that you heard that somewhere. I'm pretty sure I can redirect premieres. Yeah, because I've redirected to your premieres multiple times. Not that you would appreciate it, but I have.
You got to write down tonight's show notes.
You clearly didn't notice that. So
I try to get up to see my premieres. Premieres are done when I know Mrs. K is getting off at 6:30 and we're going to go do something.
That's right. That's right.
That's why I do a premiere.
That's right. That's your excuse. Okay.
And I'm sticking to
it. Cheaper stores, that isn't blazingly fast on storage. I'm kind of skipping over some of those a little bit. Are we in the right mind, though?
Please, are you kidding me?
Not sure what that was about. 30 bits will run 5. 32-bit Windows will run fine on 4 gigabytes of RAM. And I did have a client using 32-bit Windows 10 on their computers. We had to, because the vertical market software they were using required it. Great guy, if I was going to upgrade my root drive, I would get a Samsung 970 EVO Plus for $34.99 on Amazon. Wouldn't buy cheaper, slower NVMe drives. D-bad with Windows 11, I found that video drivers have had the same problems for ones that you do the bypass because of the TPM 2.0. Video drivers have had some problems for computers that you do the bypass. I'm thinking that you're doing the bypass, you're installing Windows 11 on equipment that's not approved, and that there's been some video drivers for that, okay? There are Android emulators that you could run under Windows 11. I presume that's what that's referring to. Kind of scanning through a little bit, not reading them all. SATA's max rated 560 megabyte second read, write, NVMe Gen 3 can range from 800 to 3500 megabit second read, 1500 up to 3500 write. Gen 4 is 4000, just numbers. I know a lot of you can recite this stuff. It just is in one ear and out the other for me.
The only thing you need to remember is that Gen 3 is more than fast enough for probably about 85% of the public.
You know what, Jim? I will disagree with you on that. I don't need to remember that. I won't remember that.
There'll be a test.
Live not as fun as at 9. Live not as fun as at 9. I'm going to think he's making reference to your after stream Zoom. Yeah, I don't know. Move on past that. Ran Israel to me. According to Google.
I hope that never leaks out.
According to Google, there are roughly 40 million Linux users in the world and over 3 billion Android users. Android on a PC could finally bring Linux to the desktop for the masses.
Yeah, keep on dreaming. Keep on dreaming.
Moving along. Morten Ingeman. Hello from Denmark. Hello, Morten. I don't recall seeing your name before, but welcome. Happy to see you. Dennis says 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for his premiere. Maybe it's because I didn't refresh. Is that why I didn't see his premiere? Dennis, there it is. That's the premiere. Daily, Fortnite Daily Summer. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dennis. I'm going to stay with Ken for the forwarding this time, but let's do this. Let's go pin a link for Dennis's show. Let's see. It's here. It gets me to his channel. And this is the live stream, not the premiere. So if I go to, this is zoomed in, that's why I'm getting a weird framing there. Now, go to the channel, then videos. This is not giving me his premiere.
Try the live tab.
Premieres shouldn't show up on live, do they?
Try me.
This is this live stream coming up. No.
Okay.
No.
That's weird.
No premiere.
I think I've seen it show up on live for some reason.
It shows up when you have your home page configured to show premieres, but
he's got a link in YouTube.
Oh,
chat.
does he? Okay, thank you. I'll just go pin that. Let's see. I'm gonna pin it. I'm gonna redo this and give a description so that when people look at the pin comment, they know what it's about. Copy link address. and then Dennis Premiere in a few hours, and then pin that. And then go to that page so it shows what time it is in my time. So it's 2 p.m. my time. This is the only correct time anyone needs to talk about. All right. Two p.m. for my premieres. This Ken's joke book. I'll take a short shout out short of a redirect. Oh, yes. Okay, so that's what we accomplished. Jeff Ryman, Windows 11 has Windows subsystem for Android, similar to Windows subsystem for Linux. And that was, so Chris Garrett, does that, have you considered that at all? Does that intrigue you when you're with your comment for Android on a PC?
I don't know.
Fair answer? Going back.
What was the question? What was the answer now?
Well, you said you were interested in Android, installing Android on a PC, right?
Yeah.
So Jeff Ryman says Windows 11 has a Windows subsystem for Android.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
All right. But if you don't have a specific purpose or reason, then I'm thinking that's probably just kind of going to go in one ear and out the other. At least that would be my method of dealing with it. Just double the last numbers to get generation speeds. Let's see, that was the link for Dennis, Chris McGraw, Android apps. Okay, we got to get moving on to a topic. Thank you very much, he says. And Chris McGraw is giving us what here? Oh, the subsystem for Android. Okay, so topics that were requested. There. Client reported all computers sluggish, and I have some pictures on that. So the call came in from my technical contact person at the office. And when I say technical contact person, this is a person who does some of the work on the computers himself. And he called saying everybody's reporting that the computers are extremely sluggish. And so I talked with them a little bit, or are they not able to use the computers at all? Or are they just difficult to work with? And basically it came down to just difficult to work with. And I said, do you want me to give you some tips of what you can do, or do you just want me to come out and handle it? He said, just come out and handle it. So I hung up with him and I called back to one of the other staff people and asked a couple questions. And they do, their main software that they work with is online scheduling and managing of pest control service people. So it's a pest control company. And the screens are just really slow going from one screen to another. At this point, before I went out there, my impression was that this was a new thing that was going on. So I got out to the office probably about 45 minutes after their call because I found out they were still functional. So at that point, it was actually the call came in during yesterday morning's show, during the Windows Daily yesterday. It's one of the times that I looked over at my phone. So I went out there and found out that this has been something that's been going on for weeks, maybe months. This is not something that just started today. All of a sudden, it's a lot worse. So they've got one of their computers that was not in use yesterday. The others were actually functional. Now, this was, I've had the experience with this office before where I get a call and I get the impression that this is emergency. Code red. Code, what is it? Code 4, come over, drive over with the sirens on. And so they're all functional. I ask them to show me sluggishness, and so she goes to a screen and says, "Oh, well, that went faster that time." And so now I'm realizing, okay, it's not consistent. And then she gets to one screen where she selects one of their truck drivers, and the length of time that it takes to populate the next 500 stops for that driver, she says that's usually just comes up instantly. Now it's taking about up to like 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm getting the idea here. And now it is a significant thing because they have 4 people in the office all using that same online software, and they go to screens like this many times each hour that they're working, where they're having to wait. So I can understand how it's a nuisance, but it's been going on for a while. So it's taken them a while to get to this kind of breaking point. I'm just contemplating how much detail to give you because I want to narrow this down a little bit.
Searching for the politically correct things that he knows he has to do.
Well, no, it's not so much that, but so I'm wondering, okay, how about how's their internet speed doing? So I do a speed test, and the numbers look fine. Yeah, they were maybe 400 down and 30 up, something like that, which is fine. That's not going to cause any problem to this type of usage. They're not uploading and downloading files. They're just screen refreshes. So that's not going to be an issue. I'll check on some other things on the computer, the computer that's not in use by anybody that day. I'm looking at Task Manager, looking at network utilization, looking at clutterware in the background, going to other websites, seeing if I can see other problems there. Just the Windows button. Click on the Windows button. Does the menu pop up quickly? Yes, it does. So I'm not seeing anything very significant. And then I go to the person's computer who was mainly having the trouble. And when we have everything closed, all our other programs closed, I bring up Task Manager and I find one item that is taking 20 to 30% CPU utilization that I don't recognize. Okay, this is interesting. So I'm going to go over here where I have some photos because I know I've got something in here about this. Yeah, here. Yeah, I'm checking this to be sure that it's, nothing private here. So here's Task Manager. On the person's computer who kind of seems to be the chief, I don't want to call her complainer in chief because she's a nice person. She's not at all what you might imagine with that, but seems to be the person to be relaying information to me. But anyway, here's what's going on in her computer. I'm giving you a little bit of time to spot the problem, and I'll see if people respond in chat with something that they see there as a problem. And I suspect the people in Zoom are kind of holding back on saying what they see.
Well, I've never heard of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Greg M. Zulip, Ida Rivera, Zulip. Yeah, this one at the top, Zulip. Sounds like somebody's got a problem with their lip. Walking around in the zoo, caught something, Zulip, I don't know. 27.8% at the moment that I took this photo, 66 megabytes of memory, although it's not the highest memory use. You can tell that by glancing through here.
Oh yeah, Dropbox is taking up a good chunk. So is Chrome. That's no surprise.
Right.
And but there's two instances of Zulip running.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice that. I did see it a little bit later on while I was working with resolving that. But at this moment in time, the only windows that were open were these windows that you see here. And back in the background here, you see something else I've got about Zulip. But this 27.8%, that was not abnormal. It was ranging from 20 to 30% with no programs open and nothing in the notification icons down in the bottom right corner that seemed to be related to Zulip. So what is this? Now I'm going to take that off screen for a moment so I can take a look at the next picture. So here's a picture of the HWIz programs installed, and they're in alphabetical order, and just showing that Zulip is not there. There's no Zulip on this list of programs. And then coming over to another place on the start menu, going down to the Z's, there's no Zulip there. And then go to the next screen. And so from Task Manager, I right-click on Zulip to open the file location. There's a couple steps you go through to get to that point, but that's how I found where does this file actually reside. And here's where it is. Here's Zulip.
Let me guess, a user folder.
Yeah, sort of. It's the user folder is SJPC3. That's the user login. That's the profile name. App data roaming, and that's where this application resides, and it's just this single file. We see a whole bunch of things that have the same date and time. That doesn't necessarily mean these are
connected. Look at the size of the file size, though. Wow.
Yeah, 155 megabytes. Take that off screen again. And here's a shot showing the notification icons, the bottom of the screen. The only thing I was concerned about here was this IBM Security Trustier Rapport. And I asked her about it, and she recognized that. She says that she installed that herself many years ago. And actually, she said that she's had it the whole time that she's been with the company. Well, the computer that she has under her desk, I think, is the third computer she's had since she's been at the company. So I'm taking that with a little grain of salt. So this was another one, something else that I was concerned about. I wound up uninstalling it, but I don't think it was a culprit. The tech that is employed in the company, he's a big fan of ESET, and that's why it's there. It's a paid version of ESET. And I when he gets in trouble with it, I just come in and fix it. But here's a case where after this was all said and done, he asked me, well, ESET didn't detect this? And I said, well, no, it didn't. I did not investigate any further to find out why. I just cleaned up the problem and move along. Then here is back to the list of programs. Here's this Trustier endpoint protection. It was installed, this date is claiming September 2022. She said she's had it longer than that. So it probably was a version update that updated that date stamp. And then let's see, this one I'm showing that I'm just uninstalling it. I'm switching away before I go to the next photo each time because I'm checking to see that I don't have anything private there. I went to the startup tab on her computer and just disabled this Zulip from Candra Labs. I think I very briefly might have done a Google search for it. Yeah, I don't even remember what was said about it. Don't really care, but if anybody's doing that, you could tell us in chat.
I can tell you because I've already got it up.
Okay, go ahead. What did you find?
It says that Zulip is an open source chat and collaborative software. It's
right.
Created in 2012.
I did look that up, and I told her that because I was suspecting that maybe she would recognize it when I explained it as such, and that did not make any connection with her. But for that to be running and utilizing that much CPU, I'm thinking maybe it was masquerading as Zulip, but it's not actually Zulip, or it is some compromised version of Zulip that is doing something else in the background, some kind of malware activity. but certainly seems alarming.
Yeah, it's one of the apps. It's an app on Google Play too.
Yeah. I'm suspecting that name Zulip might be a legitimate piece of software, but I don't think this is legitimate operation for it to not show up as a...
Yeah, legitimate or not, I have a problem with it taking up 33% of my CPU.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely just not allowed. And I highly suspect that is not what the legitimate program Zulip does or how it behaves. Okay, now, what do I got next? Oh, that's the last photo. So I look at the other computers to see if they have this installed, and they do not. Another symptom this user that had Zulip was complaining about or reporting to me is that she was unable to move her icons on the desktop. She'd click on an icon, try to move it to a different location. She could not do that. I tried it. Indeed, I could not move it. Didn't look briefly to see if there's some obvious setting for that. No. After disabling Zulip and restarting the computer, then we can move icons on the desktop. And she goes in and tries the operations that she was reporting as sluggish, and they're better, but not quite right. So it seems to have fixed the moving of the icons, but that part about the part in their software that is so slow is still slow. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, one problem down. There's another problem here. Now I got to go find the photos for that. Why is this not responding? I'm trying to get back to the first photo in that section. All right, so I don't have this planned how I'm presenting this to you. So I do, I'm checking up on, I think at this point I was looking for their DNS, what DNS they're using. So they're using the basic Comcast DNS here. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, let's try switching that to another DNS. And here, before I talk about that, here, I did a trace route to the site for the application that they're using. And I'm getting this second one here at 60 milliseconds. That's a bit high, but then I got all these request times out. So as I understand this is saying that when it goes to do those hops don't respond quick enough for this trace route to display the numbers. So that's telling me there's something wrong, probably going on at the vendor's side. The website that they're dealing with, their database maybe is overworked, or their internet connection is overloaded, or machines between them and us is having a problem, or it could be perhaps something about the DNS servers that we're using. Now these numbers will keep going on. I never did let it complete to the end. I don't know how many hops that it was trying to do. Now, what do I have next here? Is this all okay to show? Yeah, so I took a photo here of the preferred DNS settings, so I'm about to change those. And I changed them to the 1.1.1.1 and 8.8.8.8, and I don't remember who those are. One of those is Google, and the other is, what is it called? Does anybody know that offhand? Those DNS servers. I'm going to take that as a no. I don't. They're commonly used, very broadly available DNS servers. So I try those, and I get similar results. That doesn't help us. So here's another, and I'm getting this on two different computers, these kind of results. This here I went up to 25. We got a result here. So at this point, I'm thinking that there's something going on that's not our responsibility in this office. Our local area network's working okay. Our internet connection seems to be working okay. And that was all that I had of those. So what I just wound up explaining to them that it's likely that since this has been happening for weeks, maybe months, that their pest control and vendor for their database is reaching a growth point where their systems are completely utilized and they need more equipment or they need faster internet connection, and they're probably going to be getting that fixed without you even bothering to report it to them. The person that I said was the main person who was reporting troubles, when we found that zulip and cleaned that off, she had the impression that the computer felt better. So I said, well, why don't you try it for a few days and see how it goes? I'm thinking that's a pretty fair reporting of that service call yesterday. I'm going to go take a look at chat and see what is coming up. Oh yeah, there we go. Cloudflare. 111 is for Cloudflare. I would have been able to pick that up out of a multiple choice question. Do I have anything highlighted up back here where I was at? Look at the times. There's Premier, Dennis Premier. There's Dennis's thank you. Yeah, Wintermute's got a link for Zulip, open source chat. And one of the things that I thought of with open source chat, well, that could very easily be used as for spyware purposes. If that somehow gives somebody access to this computer, that could be what's going on with that CPU utilization. Chat for distributed teams. Yeah, this didn't ring any bell for her at all as far as being there legitimately.
It's not a free program. Someone bought it and put it on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, stuff like that doesn't get there by itself.
Right. Got there somehow. That doesn't mean they intentionally put it there, not the staff.
No, that doesn't mean they intentionally, but it doesn't get there by itself.
Yeah.
But it's strange. It doesn't appear as a installed application on the computer.
Yeah. And it said it's probably, it might not be modified much from the original, which would explain why ESET antivirus didn't catch it. And it very well might not be flagged or warned by Windows Defender either. Let's see. Why is it in Task Manager? Well, it got auto launched by virtue of being in that app data folder. That's one way to bypass software installation restrictions for non-admins.
Bypass software installation restrictions for non-admins. Bypass software installation.
All right, we've got to get over there. And did that get taken care of already?
I'm not sure yet.
All right.
It may have. Okay.
That was William. Okay, let's see. Jim, you've got co-host. Ken, making you a co-host because it takes me a little more to get to that window.
I didn't even realize that was a thing.
What, to make you co-host?
Well, I didn't realize that you had done it.
I just did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, hello, William Dawson.
Hello.
I
had a surprise this morning.
You had a surprise? Go ahead.
Turning the computer on, it updated itself to Windows 11.
It booted up to Windows 11. I've seen that happen a few times. I have not been able to catch what did somebody miss for that to happen. I have seen messages pop up that I could see my end users who don't read messages. They just want to click to get them away. So clicking OK is something they easily could do.
I forgot to turn it off last night.
You did what?
I forgot to turn it off last night.
Okay. Which by itself...
I guess Windows shouldn't have, but I guess when the Windows update would consider itself important enough.
Yeah, I'm suspecting somewhere there was should be a message that you had to click on to authorize that to happen, but I've I've known of it happening enough times that I'm not completely convinced that you might not have had a message display, but I don't know. Hello, Alex Cheek.
Hello.
Did you have anything to bring to the table before I continue?
I did if you don't mind. I kind of wanted to fill you in a little bit on the Bobby and Tim situation from yesterday.
Bobby and Ken?
Tim.
Tim. Bobby and Tim.
Bobby's friend Tim. Bobby got me on a three-way call.
Oh.
With his friend Tim. So I've been working on his computer. Long story short, it's a Lenovo, and I tried to install a fresh copy of Windows 10, just a plain Jane normal copy of Windows 10 without using the recovery install media. And he tried to put AnyDesk on there for me to connect, and it would not connect or allow him to connect. So I, of course, thought that it was a driver issue, that there were some drivers that Windows 10 wasn't picking up that machine needed. So thankfully, he had a factory install USB image, and after 6 hours of me being on the phone with him, on and off the phone and on and off Zoom several times, he was finally able to get that computer functioning again. He had updated it to Windows 11, but he had put so much games and so much junk on there that it was really slow, really wasn't that functional. And his camera, for whatever reason, webcam built into the computer was not working. And I, of course, looked at Windows Update, see if it updated like we did before with Josh's camera, and uninstalled the camera and nothing. Found the camera driver from the Lenovo website, installed that, nothing. Because it detected it inside of the camera app, it would say like front facing camera, but it would just be a black screen. And so, out of desperation, I said, did this computer come with Windows 11? He said no. He said it came with Windows 10. And I was like, let's go ahead and downgrade it.
Okay. Oh, you're muted. Does that mean you were done?
I'm done.
Okay, well, I have a question for you. The camera was detected, but you couldn't see any image through the camera, correct?
That's what it appeared.
And this is a laptop?
Yes.
Did you ask him if there's any privacy slider covering the lens of the camera?
Yes, I did. Because I personally had previous experience physically touching somebody's Lenovo laptop because they couldn't get their webcam to work. And the fix for that was this particular Lenovo laptop that I physically saw in person had both a privacy switch on the webcam, as well as a function key you had to press.
Okay.
So I asked him to physically remove the privacy slider, open it, and figure out and if he saw like a camera icon as one of the function keys, and press the FN key and try that. And he tried it both with the function key and without, and none of that worked.
Okay. How long has it been since that camera was functional?
It was yesterday when he told me there was a problem. I asked him, and he said that the last time he was able to use the camera was yesterday, so a couple of days ago now.
Oh.
But I was unable. But he called me. He said that his program says some websites that he uses to stream says the camera's in use, but no matter what application I used to open the camera up, I was not able to get it to actually see an image, just a black screen.
Okay.
So,
Interesting. Okay. So what are you still going to be pursuing it, or are you done with that? What happens
not
next?
he downgraded to Windows 10 like I suggested because the computer came with Windows 10 and still got a couple of years. And I will, when I connect the next time this computer, I will update, run Windows Update, and do all the normal stuff, and then see if the camera works.
Okay.
And hopefully that will fix it since Lenovo's website doesn't actually have drivers specifically for Windows 11, only for 10.
Yeah. Well, this computer's on Windows 10 now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
It's got the factory image.
okay, factory image, and with the factory image, the camera was not functional. Wow, that just still sounds like it's a
The
privacy
camera was
cover.
not functional because he put Windows 11 or whatever updates. It wasn't the factory image to begin with. It was Windows 11.
Okay, well, what you're saying, when you installed Windows 11, the camera stopped working, right? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know exactly what date he installed Windows 11, but his story is that the camera stopped working a couple of days ago. So I'm assuming it was working before on Windows 11. It just stopped working a couple of days ago.
Okay. All right, well, I'll be interested to see how that works out. I'll go back and continue in chat. Brand Israel asked, was Zulip digitally signed? I did not check. I did not investigate any deeper. It's sufficient that they don't know what it is. They didn't have no knowledge of putting it on there. It's taking up too much CPU usage. Goodbye. Florida routers do not. That just means the routers are configured to not respond to pings. So, okay, I haven't done a lot of that. This response from Brand Israel is implying, I think what you're saying is that you've had plenty of experience, or you know that if you do trace route, it's common that particular hops don't respond to pings.
Yep.
No, so Jim, you're confirming that?
I'm sorry?
Did you just confirm that?
No.
No. All right. Because I don't know, Rand, is that something you think or suspect? Are you an expert in that realm? I haven't investigated it. I would expect that computers that serve the purpose of routing traffic over the internet, it's just not right that they don't respond to pings. They should. They should be responsible to do that. Why would they not respond to pings? They're not end user computers. They are computers that are there to route traffic over the internet. For diagnostic purposes, they should be required to respond to pings, in my opinion. Let's see, talking about jobs there. I started to use for primary DNS 9.9.9.9. Was that because of the number 9 song? What is that? Quad 9. An open DNS recursive service for free security, high privacy. All right, I'll read through that more later. Thank you, Zavi. How about the Zavi? What is your main reason for wanting to choose that? Is there some to give me a little focus on what I should be looking at it for? Update 11. Let's see. GitHub Zulip issues. Jeff found on GitHub. Let's take a look at that. Remove, uninstall Zulip. How can I completely remove Zulip server on Linux? Well, that's a little bit outside the realm of what I'm dealing with.
Just a bit.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that was just a search result. Had a phone call when we were going to hear about Zulip, break out the popcorn. Moving along. It jumped on me there. Kind of scanning over these with my eyes, looking for something that I want to read into the video. Wintermute confirmed. Confirmed on the point about not all computers on a trace route will respond to a ping. Ran Israel say, yes, it's common. So I'm presuming that was a response to my question about pinging. And Greg has seen that also.
That's what I've heard also.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Routing and responding to pings are two different things. Configuring them to not respond to pings hardens them against distributed denial of service attacks. All right. Well, that kind of just totally, not totally, but reduces the value of traceroute. Selden Ball, I've also experienced routers that don't respond. Supposedly they consider ping response to be a security issue. I agree with you. They should respond. Richard Rogers, hello. Welcome. 9.9 is faster than 8.8 and 1.1 in Israel. Oh, okay. So that's why Zivi is using that. So because that's his reason, I'm probably not going to pursue reading up on that. The Quad 9 DNS service operated by Swiss-based Quad 9 Foundation, whose mission is to provide safer and more robust internet for everyone. All right, I'm caught up with chat. Now, go see what another topic. I don't think we have Paul F. in chat today, do we? No, I guess I don't get the search from there. To get the search, I have to come over here. Control F. Paul F. No. Okay, the remote power on, off options. So I'm expecting to be doing one day at the cabin probably every week, except next week. Yeah, I still might be away for a day next week. And during the summer, I've taken to shutting down Big Beast Build and putting Baby Beast Build asleep at night times, and even sometimes during the daytime when I'm not using them, to conserve on power and heat, because it generates a lot of heat. This room gets 15 degrees hotter than the rest of the house if I don't ventilate it. And I'm not on any kind of a rate plan type thing, because I don't want PG&E cutting off my air conditioner at times. I want it to be available to me. So I'm trying to cut down my use of electricity, because when I get to the higher tier levels, then all the electricity I use after I achieve a certain level is charged at a much higher rate. So I wanted to see how that goes. But if I'm away, I want to be able to connect remotely to the computers here while I'm up at the cabin. So I want them on. I want to be able to turn them on remotely. I know there are power devices that you can connect to through the internet to turn a computer on. And I also know many motherboards, I'm pretty sure this one has that Wake on LAN capability. And I think that even can achieve a power on LAN, because you know, when you have your computer connected to internet and your computer's connected to power but shut down, the motherboard still has electricity going to it. It still is somewhat awake, because your power button is usually just an electrical connection. It has to have power already to the motherboard for your power button to even turn the computer on. I think there's about 3 different ways that I could accomplish this. I haven't done much research into it. So I figured, well, I might start by asking the audience their thoughts, the Zoom room their thoughts. I have already enabled in BIOS the feature for the computer to automatically turn on after a power failure, meaning I could just install a Amazon device, smart power outlet. I have them already. I'm already using them. I could install one of those on the power connection for a big beast build, and then instead of shutting it down, just turn that device off so that the computer effectively crashes. That's okay. Windows usually recovers from that fine. Not always. If it fails, then I wind up, at worst case, performing a repair when I get back here, or even restoring an image backup. I can live with that. My experience with shutting a computer off rudely by disconnecting the power or holding the power button down, it's very rare that it won't restart. On Baby Beast, I'm pretty satisfied with just, putting it sleep mode, that doesn't work either because I don't have a way of waking it up remotely. So anyway, that kind of introduces the subject. I'll turn that first to see if the Zoom room has thoughts about that while I'm looking at chat. Yes, no, don't care, aren't interested, what?
I've never.
Alexa, turn on Big Beast.
I can issue commands to Alexa through the internet. So
Yeah,
that's
that
not
solves
a
the
big
power on. That could
Mine
solve
is
it,
playing music.
possibly, but
Alexa, shut up.
Now, if I shut the computer down using proper shutdown, I tested this. If I use proper shutdown and then turn off the electrical power and then turn the electrical power back on, will that setting in BIOS cause it to power on, to start up?
it should.
It did not.
Good.
It did
Oh,
not.
really?
It did not. So
That's interesting.
I went to the Windows button, power, shut down, and then pulled the plug on the computer. And then I actually waited a couple minutes and plugged it back in, and it did not automatically come on. I thought it would. I hoped it would. I thought that would be an easy solution.
Can you turn on the setting in BIOS to wake on power detection?
Well, what it is after power failure, what do you want the computer to do?
Yeah.
I told it I want it to start up. And I tested that. While the computer was in Windows, I pulled the plug, put it back in, and it did start up just fine.
But
Brian.
some BIOS.
Yeah.
BIOS,
So that's the problem.
You can go check the motherboard when power is detected, it reactivates.
It will reactivate and turn on if the power was cut while the computer was on.
Right.
Okay, Brian.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's what that BIOS setting is for that situation. But you're not in that situation if you shut it down manually.
Right.
And then remove the power. Yeah, that's.
So it makes sense that it behaves that way. Brian, you've been trying to say something.
I was going to say I don't even know if they still have them in BIOS. I haven't bothered to check, but there used to be a wake on ring, which means that's the way the bulletin boards used to operate. You'd have to have a modem installed onto it.
Okay.
That would be the same as wake
and
on
a telephone line.
Well, I think that's probably wake on LAN now, which means I could send a command through the local network for it to wake up. And I've never tried doing that. I don't even know how to send the command. You'd be sending the command from some other computer, I suppose.
That stuff I never bothered getting into. Had no need to get into that. So.
Yeah, I haven't either until now. All right. I'm taking a look to see what else, if chat is saying anything. Let's see, that's way back in history. Rand was asking for topic 5. Is that the one I'm talking now? Yes, it is. Official Tim Tech. Hello there. There's another new name. I think we've got a few new names here. Welcome. Good to have you. 3.3 volts always present. Not sure what that's referring to.
That's when the system is off. But
okay.
The power supply, 3.3 volts is always active.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you remember Steve Gibson's app, domain name speed benchmark? Check again for faster DNS. Yeah, I never actually used it, but now that you say that, I do recollect him having a tool for that. Greg M., there are apps that will issue wake on LAN commands using IP address of the destinations. Official Tim Tech. Why do I feel like I recognize the name? He's saying hello back and forth to people. Oh, Ken. Ken, do you know Official Tim Tech?
I do not.
Okay. But welcome. Glad to have you here.
He's got a channel. He's got a few followers.
Oh, all right. So here he says, he's got a question. What is the difference between 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz? Well, it's 2.6 is the difference.
Yeah. Right.
Now, let's get it right. He was referring to the Wi-Fi, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. 2.4 gigahertz, as far as the benefits of it, it will typically go. Your devices will work farther away from the Wi-Fi router, but you won't get as high of transfer speeds, network speeds. And the 5 gigahertz, you'll get faster speed, but you won't get as much range. Oh, Official Tim Tech says Bobby knows me. Is Official Tim Tech the Tim that Alex was helping?
No,
that's somebody else. Okay,
just a guess. I said a few subscribers. He's just shy of 15,000 subscribers. He's been around a couple days.
Oh, all right. And then the more technical reference to those is that those are radio frequencies. That is what the specific numbers refer to. 2.4 gigahertz, it's a band within a specific frequency, and the actual frequency is more numbers than the 2.4. The 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz is just, I think, that the last significant digits of that frequency. And that, talk about radio frequencies, that's a Jim area, not me. But I think that's probably enough conversation for now. He says his new laptop has 5 gigahertz, old laptop has 2.4 gigahertz.
Faster speeds on the 5 gigahertz.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And that's essentially it.
Yeah. And what are you going to have to do to actually see that difference is perhaps measure how long it takes you to download a large file. And you want to be in a good location. Don't try doing that. If you're comparing the speed of those two devices when they're a distance away, you'll get to a point where you're too far away to really be achieving the 5 gigahertz speed. Now, 5 gigahertz is not a speed. It's a radio frequency. But I don't even know the speed numbers of those two frequencies on Wi-Fi. Jim, do you know those numbers?
No, I don't. Not off the top of my head.
All right. Is Official Tim Tech's Alex's customer? Yes. No. So we've answered Wintermute. That ends.
I was wrong.
No.
Official Tim Tech, and is it possible to get Apple on a Windows laptop?
No.
Well,
the answer is no.
I'm presuming that you don't mean pulling an apple out of the refrigerator and putting it physically on top of the laptop. But there's some kind of emulator. But what are you trying to accomplish? If you were just trying to, if you're doing some software development, I think there's some kind of a emulator or something that lets you do that type of work on a Windows computer. But if you want to use the Apple operating system, get an Apple computer. Why are you asking if that's possible? And he says, Alex helped me fix my PC. Bobby introduced me. So this is Alex's customer.
I said I was wrong. I apologized. I was wrong.
Oh, well, I didn't. Whenever you said that didn't register with me. That's what you're referring to.
Doug, I sent you in a normal chat an article on reactivating computer over the internet.
All right. Let me catch these two. Oh, yeah. All right. It says that. Long Dog, you guys are killing me today when it comes to gigahertz. Talking about CPU, that is the speed of the clock that goes through the CPU like a clock. The CPU has a set of instructions. Well, no. These 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz, he's not talking about a CPU there. He's talking about Wi-Fi. Yeah, I don't understand, Long Dog, what you're... Sounds like you're saying we're wrong to be calling this gigahertz. I disagree with you. William Dawson's got this remote power over the internet. How to remotely turn on your PC over the internet. If you use remote desktop, remote file access on the server, you may leave your computer on. Set wake up on LAN. Okay, that's good. I will go read through that later. Thank you for that. Because I think that's probably going to be my best way to go about it. The Big Beast build takes more power than Baby Beast. So I'm inclined to leave Baby Beast on, not even in sleep, so that I can connect remotely to it and then issue command to Big Beast to turn it on. Most of the time I won't need to, because most of what I would need remotely is going to be, I can accomplish with Baby Beast. That it must execute needs kind of a timer called a clock given in gigahertz. He's talking about the CPU still. Seldom ball, my experience has been that fewer people have computers with 5 gigahertz, so there tends to be less interference. For another reason, 5 gigahertz range can be faster than 2.4 gigahertz. Now, as far as wake online, you need to have the function, sometimes in BIOS, sometimes the software can be tricky to make it work. Yeah, I know it's a setting in BIOS. Windows cannot handle that. It can't wake it on LAN. Now, and also, does wake on LAN means waking it from sleep, or will it actually turn it on from a shutdown state?
I don't think it's going to turn it on from a shutdown state.
All right. Now, I don't know that, but there's also some BIOSes have you can schedule a power on in BIOS to where it actually turns the computer on based upon what I've seen. Typically, it's have all the days of the week, and you can set a time on any particular day for it to power on. Yeah. So I could sit. Go ahead.
That's wake on RTC, real time clock.
Okay, that makes sense. So I could set it to wake up at the beginning of the day, so that it's not on overnight, and just schedule it to turn on that day if I want to go down that road. I might test that. I could test that while I'm here.
I haven't seen that in the last several BIOSes that I've ever looked at.
Well, I see it now and then. I think it varies depending upon the manufacturer of the BIOS, or maybe the computer. I don't know. I have seen it.
I generally tend to gloss over all of those wake on whatevers. Just go to the next item.
Yeah, well, me too, because I don't need it. But Big Beast Build has so much stuff in BIOS, and I don't even know if it's there. Maybe I'm hearing incorrectly outside. If you're talking about Wi-Fi, that's a different frequency. Official Tim Tag, get the Final Cut. Oh, Final Cut Pro. That's why he wants an Apple. Oh, Final Cut Pro on my other Windows computer because I want to edit my videos for YouTube. Wow, I would strongly encourage you to get a genuine Apple equipment. I have used Final Cut Pro. I did for years, did video editing on Final Cut Pro of my aviation videos. And that's a monster of a program. To be doing anything outside of what the intended design of it, I think you're asking for trouble. I was using an iMac, and I had troubles with it. So any trouble that you wind up having with Final Cut Pro, you're not going to know whether it's because of something you're doing in Final Cut Pro, or if it's something about the hardware that you're running it on because you're running it in a non-native environment. You want to edit videos for YouTube with Final Cut Pro.
Excuse me, is that a Mac only thing?
Yes, it's a Mac only.
Yeah.
It only runs on the Mac operating system.
Yeah, trying to run Apple or Mac OS or whatever you want to call it on Intel, PC, whatever. There are plenty of people who have done videos on it that's referred to as a Hackintosh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work you have to do.
And what is the use case where it is worth doing all of that and having the risk of what may go wrong? I would very strongly encourage someone not to do it.
By the time you invest time and energy into that kind of a project, you might as well have just bought the Mac.
Yeah. Could you use a VW?
As much as I don't like Macs, everybody knows I don't like them. I work on them, I'll fix them, but I don't like them.
Yeah.
No, I've seen some of the videos of what you have to go through to get that to happen.
Yeah.
To do the Hackintosh, that's a nightmare.
Yeah. I got this image in my mind of comparing it to modifying a VW Bug for towing pickup trucks.
Yeah, or Formula One racing.
Yeah. So I think I see where he's bought into, accepted what we're saying there.
If he wants to edit stuff on that, he's pretty much stuck, in my opinion, anyway. Because the Hackintosh thing is just way ridiculously complicated. Well, assuming that he could get it to run, like you said, you won't know whether he's having trouble because the program itself,
right,
or the Hackintosh, whatever that he did, you won't know that.
Now, the other question that would be worth asking is, why do you want to use Final Cut Pro? There are free or very inexpensive video editing software available in the Windows environment. Does he want to use Final Cut Pro simply because that's what he owns? I own a license for Final Cut Pro. It's quite old. So is it a matter of trying to get more value out of what you paid there? I think that is exercise in futility. You're going to have many hurdles and roadblocks down the road. But I think he's already accepted what we said. So let's move on. I was wondering where he went. If I'm wrong, okay. Everybody was confused. If I was Alex's customer, yeah. So this is Alex's customer. Came to us through Bobby. You've been participating in conversation here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn your name blue. The way I accomplish that is making you what's called a standard moderator, but that does not mean I'm asking you to throw down the hammer on other people. It's just so that your name shows up in blue. We know that you've been around. Wakes up from sleep mode normally. Yes, they did call me last night. What wake on land means is the computer is technically off, but the Wi-Fi card is Wi-Fi? No, is actually active. A lot of machines, if you look back in them, you'll see blinking lights on the Ethernet port. Well, the Ethernet port is not Wi-Fi card.
LAN card, I think he meant.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant. Typically, those machines have the capability to wake on LAN, but not all of them. And they do always say wake on LAN, which Wi-Fi is local area network. But I think I've also seen them say wake on Ethernet. I'd be surprised if they can wake on Wi-Fi. I called in this morning and changed the date to be fixed. So what happens when the computer is technically off? A special signal called a magic packet comes through the wall and wakes up the card, and the card has a chip on it to turn on the machine. Now, Jim and I are laughing at that, but he's using words there that could be interpreted as literal, a magic packet coming through the wall board.
That's a simplistic view of the entire situation.
Yeah, that's like ChatGPT saying on a technical topic, saying, explain that to me as if I'm a 12-year-old. And so it uses words that are a little more understanding or easier to understand for non-technical people. It's an amazing program. Okay, so this is maybe he's a big fan of the video editing program on Apple that now I'm even forgetting the name of it. But I think that's what he's referring to as an amazing program. Oh, Macintosh. Get a mini Mac. It's cheaper. Well, you got to get, if you're going to do video editing, you got to be buying a Mac that is strong enough to do that. Don't just buy any old Mac.
Yeah,
That Mac Mini, that sounds like not a good idea.
And remember, buying the Mac you need to start with, upgrading is almost impossible sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, it is impossible.
Now, of course, we also don't know what official Tim Tech video editing, how complicated his videos are going to be. If he's doing shorts, you might get away with something less. But if you're doing Final Cut Pro, that right there, you're buying a really sophisticated, competent program. It's just not right to do that on an underpowered computer.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot. Wintermute's put links in for, what is it, Power Director and DaVinci Resolve. So,
okay,
those are certainly viable options, and there might be a learning curve, but it's certainly going to be cheaper to use that than to buy a Mac to run the other thing.
Yeah. And then also another thing is he's saying that it's an amazing program. Well, I've used a lot of different video editing programs, and they could all be considered amazing if it is meeting your needs and you learn how to use that program and are getting along well with it. So to drill deeper into that, okay, why do you say Final Cut Pro is an amazing program? Because I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, in this program you can do this and this and this, and I know, well, yeah, but I can do that in other programs too. They just don't happen to know that because they only know that one program that they're really impressed with.
He says he's doing shorts, so that doesn't require much.
Yeah,
download the free version of DaVinci Resolve, learn it.
Yeah, does.
That's my advice.
Certainly does not require Final Cut Pro because it has a lot of capabilities built into it. You got a lot of overhead of program capability there that you're not utilizing.
Did I hear Ken Vinci? Did someone mention?
Uh-oh, we woke him up.
All right, now I'm trying to get to Zavi's comment here. I never tried Wake on LAN, but upon this link, Wake on LAN, WOL, allows a computer to be powered on or awakened from standby, hibernate, or shut down from another device on the network. All right, so we'll see what's up with that.
This cause it all the time.
From shutdown.
Okay, so he's
in a day.
Yeah, and this is showing from with. Oh, this is configuring it from within Windows. Looks like you're actually.
Yeah, you have to tell Windows to listen for it too.
Oh, okay. So this is. I wonder if that is dependent upon the BIOS capability as well, or is this?
Yeah, your BIOS has to be on, and the Windows has to be configured to address it.
All right. Well, that's good. Thank you for that, Zavi. Now this one looks like oh no, it's doing the Windows configuration too. And there's also a port forwarding involved there, which I've done enough port forwardings that I'm comfortable with that. Good. Those are some good leads. You're welcome, Tim. Lawn Dog, you guys making me think fast. I realize some of the things I'm saying are also upset because I've had nothing but problems fixing my car. Oh man, I sympathize, Lawn Dog. I used to fix cars as a living. I was a mechanic, and I even had a auto shop business for a few years. So do you guys know anything about Samsung Galaxy S30, S22 Plus? Not much for me. If you have specific questions, that would be something somebody could respond to, perhaps. Then here's Wintermute's. Oh, Wintermute's link. Tim Tech try Power Director. Oh, these are the video softwares for Tim. My 5G standalone is grayed out on my phone. If you guys could please help me enable it, I really appreciate it lots. My 5G standalone is grayed out on my phone. So we're talking about an Android phone or iPhone. I somehow feel that's an Android. Oh, he said Samsung Galaxy. That's Android.
The Android, yeah.
5G standalone. 5G is referring to is Wi-Fi. I'm not sure what he's referring to with the word standalone. Maybe he's got a Wi-Fi SSID name.
Is he talking about the Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz or the cell phone signal that the G5 they advertise?
5G is a cellular connection
style.
through your cell phone towers. It's your towers for your wireless service rather than Wi-Fi. So I think he's saying it might be that he's saying his 5G service for his cell phone is grayed out, which means you're not in an area where you're close enough to an antenna to get 5G. So you got to drive somewhere else, is what I think is going on there. Yeah, Bobby Warren says it's his data with AT&T. So maybe you're at home and you don't have a good enough connection there. I'm seeing a lot of hesitation or out of sync with my video, but I'm not showing any dropped frames. Is anybody reporting buffering problems or anything like that?
Don't see anything here.
Nothing here.
Yeah, when I'm looking at my picture-in-picture, it's very herky-jerky when I'm looking at it.
Oh, yeah, I see it. That's interesting.
You're seeing it?
Yeah, I am.
When I turn my head back and forth.
Out. Yeah.
You're seeing that in Zoom?
No, not in Zoom.
No, Zoom's good.
On YouTube. So you see
Oh.
other camera.
All right. Let's see. Where is this show at? Yeah. So here, you're going to get a picture-in-picture here as I'm watching that. Come on, Doug. Turn your head. Let's see. Am I live? Yeah, it's showing live.
You have to
I think I got to go back because that should be. I'm hitting the back key there. Yeah, because we were back here. Yeah, as I'm turning my head back and forth there, it's kind of jumpy.
Yeah, it's not. The camera in Zoom is fine. It's apparently the other camera that seems to be an issue.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let's try this camera. This looks problematic too. All right, let's go take a look at.
Yeah, there it is.
Let's take a look at Task Manager. See what's going on.
That kind of had a little max headroom action going on.
Yeah.
I like to contribute.
Well, these numbers up here look okay. Power usage columns got 3 things saying very high, 5 things. I'm not really seeing anything there to be alarmed about. Well, let's move along.
Well, you could always maybe stop the camera and restart it or something.
Well, except that it's two different cameras that are having the same symptom.
No, they're not. It's not. Zoom, you're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
YouTube, which is that other camera, is the one that's jerking.
Oh.
So
All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's bring a. Oh. Okay. Yeah. You're right. You're right. So here I've got Zoom going over YouTube now, and I'm seeing that. Yeah, that camera is fine. All right. I was thinking something incorrectly. Thank you.
Maybe if you can cycle that particular camera, either deactivate, reactivate, or unplug and plug back in. I mean, I'm just guessing here.
Yeah, I can do that. Let's see. It is. I'm going to walk around the back of the desk to do that.
Uh-oh. This is getting to be dangerous.
What I'm doing back here.
Next thing you know, down goes Fraser.
Yeah. Hey, I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later, everybody. All right, that's it. Just disconnected USB and reconnected it. And I sounded like I was distance away when I was away from the microphone.
I thought it was natural. You just had a crick in your neck.
This looks better.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm looking, have a delay, but yeah, that's looking much better.
All right.
There you go. All right,
Tim Tech, because I use it in high school, I edited school videos on it. Okay, so that just means you're really comfortable with it. Yeah, I would highly recommend you broaden your horizons.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine with another software.
Shorts editing, DaVinci Resolve has a free version. I left the link in the YouTube chat. There's a learning curve, but if all you're doing is shorts and you have minimal editing needs, that should more than do it.
You can run a i7-8700K, so you don't need the latest CPU either.
All right, that was a thank you to Tony Wallow.
Jim,
Yes.
you got to admit though that if I can learn DaVinci, the learning curve's really not that steep.
Well, let's put it this way: if you can learn it and I can learn it, it ain't that steep.
Wait a minute, Ken, you've learned it?
No, not really, but I thought I'd try.
Yeah.
Now, Tim Tech he's talking about that he was using it in high school, so we know he's much younger than us, right?
Is this the point where I tell him to get off my lawn?
What I want to see is when he starts using DaVinci Resolve and getting involved with Ken's channel, how long is it going to take before he transitions from coming to Ken with questions to where he's coming to Ken with providing answers to Ken's
right
questions?
Off the bat, I'll answer that for you. His first video is probably going to blow me away.
Tim, I really don't think you have anything to worry about going to DaVinci Resolve. And I think that's going to be a much better experience for you.
And you have nothing to fear from me.
Well, I'm not saying that. Ken said that.
Well, if he has questions, Ken, he knows who to come to.
Yes.
Let's see. Jim. Let's see. This one from Jim, is that another video editing, I suppose?
No, that's the direct link to DaVinci. The other ones were YouTube videos.
Oh, okay. Got it. Let's see. We got that answered about the 5G cell phone signal, 5G logo showing. Nope, don't see anything here. It's fine on my end. It's jumpy. What do you mean? Good one. LOL. Famous last words. Avatar dangerous. Skimming over. Arnold Albert. It's the look Jim gives when he gives suggestions or recommendations. Let's see, what's he giving us here? Is this his channel?
No, I don't think so.
That's how we got 77 million on YouTube Shorts. Oh, maybe this is what he's wanting to pursue, is trying to grow quickly through YouTube Shorts. Did you guys hear about this? Do you guys know a lot about YouTube? Well, yes and no. Depends upon
even YouTube doesn't know enough about YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time you turn around, they're trying something new and they screw it up. So,
Oh, official Tim Tech. There you go.
Okay, that's the channel. That is my channel. Okay. All right, so let's go have a look at that. But yes, Tim. Oh, I guess then this is Tim. Hello, Tim. Nice to meet you. 14.8 thousand subscribers, 120 videos. That's a lot of subscribers for a small number of videos.
Yeah, he looked your age.
Yeah. 9 days ago, so he's got 6 minutes, 20 minutes, 13 minutes, 10 days ago. Looking here, you see three thumbnails that are the same. A photo of this, it starts playing a video there. Talking about slow speeds at home, current status, new update.
Yeah, one look at that face, and I'm going, get off my lawn. It's oh God.
So, Doug, if I may.
Yeah, you may.
14,000 with 120 videos. I'm clearly at the other end of that spectrum, where I have 7,000 videos and only 284 subscribers.
Yeah, was that a question?
You'll figure that math out in a minute.
Okay. Well, he's had this channel since May 2011.
Good point. I've only had mine since 2021.
Yeah, makes a difference. And there may have been some explanation back in the past where he got subscribers from. Now we'll look over these for views. 18 views, 10 views, 11 views, 29 views, 240 views. Let's come up here to the top and take most popular, 240 views. So he didn't get those subscribers from these videos. Those were uploaded videos on live, 30 views, 10 views. Let's see how far back we go. Tim, I hope you're okay with me showing your channel here, but you did give us.
Oh, that has shades of someone we all know.
Yeah,
I'm sure he
that's
does.
what I was.
All right. So on live streams, most popular, 34 views. Oldest, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, oldest live stream 2 weeks ago. On the videos, the oldest was 5 months ago. So he hasn't been producing content. So where did he get the 14,000 subscribers from? I think there's some explanation that we aren't seeing. Total of 7,000 views on the channel, more subscribers than the total number of views since the channel was started. There's some explanation back there that I suspect he could explain and tell us. He says, yes, I'm okay, no problem. Matt?
No problem.
All right.
Matt.
I don't know what Matt was referring to. We're getting close to the end of my time.
I think he's asking if he can join on Zoom.
Oh, certainly. So he can explain. Do I want to take the time for that now?
I'm back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, let's handle that next week, or you may have that explained on Ken's show. But I try to keep this at 2 hours. Here's the email address the official Tim Tech and anyone else. So the way you get in on Zoom is the same way you send a questions. Just send an email there asking for the Zoom credentials, and you can come in next Saturday, same time, same station, usually. And yeah, you could come in, because I think you've been around enough already that I'm comfortable with you coming in. We're a little bit careful around these parts. We don't publish Zoom credentials on my show or Ken's show and any of the others that do Zoom.
Well, a slight caveat to that. I do know that Ken.Live guy did publish him one time on a live stream. I do know that.
Yeah, I know that too. And back in the beginning, I think I did, because I had a Zoom crasher too, or maybe it was just I gave the credentials. I don't know if I gave them by email without checking the person out, but even if I had checked them out, they pretended to be okay for a while and then started
we had
misbehaving.
that recently as well.
So I think really, if somebody wants to mess with us, they could give us the right answers through email and get the credentials and then still misbehave, and we'll just have to deal with it when it happens. We'll survive. All right, let's shut this thing down. I don't think I didn't get into the phishing email. I don't remember if anyone asked for that.
I don't remember anybody asking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even worth giving you a brief description right now.
I should think everybody knows what a phishing email looks like.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Wow.
This client did question it. It was a staff person that questioned it to the manager. The office manager checked with me, and I tested it I have a virtual computer up that I was going to show a little bit about it, but I was going to have to blur out a whole lot of stuff. But basically what happened is when you actually try to launch the attachment, it asks you to put in your email password. And so that's what it was trying to get, is the email password. Whoopie-doo.
Somebody says hello.
Well, hello there, Max.
They're trying to pull a Linus on them. That's why Linus got it. The one in Canada.
Linus got in Canada.
Linus Tech Tips.
You're giving me pieces. You're not give me a full sentence.
Linus Tech Tip was hit with a takeover his channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that. I actually
There's a password that got out that let the people in.
Yeah, well, that was a completely different story.
Do not open attachments from people you do not know. End of story.
Well, no, it's more than that. Do not open attachments, even if it's from people that you know. If it doesn't, because I've seen plenty of that where the names are faked or spoofed. And in this case, this phishing email that was sent to my client, the entity that sent it knew about the IP-based voicemail system that they had on their phone system. That's what this phishing email was. It would claim to be a voice message sent by email, which we used to have this office configured for that. So people in this office know about that, but they're not currently using it. So it looked like coming from a valid sender from the voicemail system. But it was suspicious because she had several other voice messages on her extension that day, and none of them generated emails. So yeah, the wording needs to be modified. If it's from someone you know, that doesn't make it okay.
The most common one I get now is, we have successfully charged $343 to your credit card. If you have any questions, click here.
And if you do, you're a moron.
Yeah. Well, I got a delete key on my keyboard. It works great.
It could be claiming to be coming from Amazon about something that you returned recently, and it could be phony. So they are going to continue getting more and more clever about these. So, yeah. All right. So, in Zoom, I'll ask you to say goodbye to the audience, please.
Goodbye, audience.
Goodbye, audience.
Good night, Bracy.
Good night.
All right.
Kiss Out Live, 9 o'clock. Oh, I'm gone and you got it. Just be. Oh.
No, that went through. That went through, Ken. I haven't ended the video yet. I have muted you now, so your voice isn't going over yet. I have not closed the Zoom session yet. I'll give you a little bit of after hours Zoom here. But I'm going to fix this so I don't hear you anymore. So now I'm not hearing you guys anymore. Your voices are going into my microphone because you're just going to mess with me and try to distract me as I'm trying to say goodbye to the audience. I'll take one last look at chat, and people are saying goodbyes. All right, that looks good. So have a great weekend, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye. Ken, what button do I press?